I've been learning a lot lately about the human body, mostly because I want to understand the mind-body connection, and I feel like there's not enough research on that or it's not talked about enough. There's not information readily available to just directly learn about it. It almost feels like I'm really having to dig from all of these various sources. A lot of times when you are learning about the body, we split it up into different systems. So I'm learning about only the nervous system in one book, or I'm learning about the brain specifically in another book. It's hard to find information about how all of the things work together, specifically how your brain and your mind interact with like your body and the other systems like in your body. While I've been learning about all this, the most striking theme that I've seen is the emphasis on stress management and stress reduction. I'm reading a book right now called The Better Brain by Dr. Andrew Weil, and literally on the first page, all of the examples he put of ailments that he treats, each one of them notes that stress management or stress reduction was a part of the treatment. I'm also learning about the nervous system right now, and I'm sure you all have heard about how our bodies can get stuck in a fight or flight response, and also that when faced with fear nowadays, we still react in the same way we would as if we were like faced with a lion that was about to attack us. And so there's definitely a huge theme there about getting out of that fight or flight response and back into that parasympathetic response, which is rest and digest, which is non-stress. I've also recently been learning about how what you ingest affects your brain health. So not just the nutrients and minerals that you get from your food, but also ingesting pollutants or drugs and how that can have an effect on your brain. One of the things that came up was oxidative stress. So when you intake free radicals, when you intake like pollutants or you intake certain drugs, chemicals from our processed food, it creates oxidative stress on the body. Free radicals cause damage to our body, cause damage to our cells, and that's why we are always told to eat antioxidants. I read a couple articles on emotional intelligence, and I put them into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to sort of like synthesize it and give me what are the indicators of emotional intelligence. It spit out 9 different indicators. One of them was being able to adapt to changing circumstances and handle stress in a healthy manner. There are also studies on how chronic stress leads to health conditions, a myriad of different health conditions. From my experience, I thought that stress was a mental or bodily state that you sometimes experience, and that chronic stress is when you get stuck in that mental or bodily state. But that way of thinking is more just mirroring the nervous system. The idea that you can get stuck in fight or flight, or you could be in fight or flight for a period of time and then it goes away. It's a state that your body is in, or your mind is in, or both are in. But stress is not just about the nervous system. Stress affects every system in our body. Stress can also be one-off physiological responses that your body has to threats. By that definition, plaque buildup is an example of stress on the body. Eating too much and your body having to compensate for having too much in your belly is an example of stress on the body. It doesn't fit my previous definition. You can overeat and then go be rest and digest, quite literally rest and digest after you overeat, but you're still putting stress on your body. So stress is not just like a state of being. So when doctors or gurus or studies or even family members tell us that we need to take on stress reduction or stress management techniques, it's a holistic recommendation. I think that should be taken as you need to take a look at your whole experience to understand where you need to implement stress reduction. Not just how can you get yourself out of those stressful mind states that you go into, but like how else can you prevent your body from taking on more stress by what you ingest and surround yourself with? Especially if it's chronic stress, because chronic stress is so detrimental to your entire experience here on Earth. We should all be checking in periodically, not only on the psychological stress that we go through, but also considering how we are taking on stress in our body and our other systems. Check in and be like, okay, like my job is really stressful, or this particular relationship in my life is really stressful and it's a chronic situation. But also check into your body and be like, okay, am I over or under eating? Am I over or under sleeping? What else am I consuming and intaking, like through my senses? Am I doing too much or too little of that? Like getting outdoors. So much media that we consume, working around pollutants, if that's something that you do, like you're a construction worker or a nail tech or something along those lines. I know that whenever these conversations come up, it is overwhelming. Like we are constantly inundated with like, you need to do this for your health and don't do this, but add this and subtract this and change that. Like it's really hard to balance and manage your own health. And a lot of times we're adverse to changing or becoming a more mindful, balanced person because we spend so much time prioritizing our mental processes over our whole body, or prioritizing other people and situations over ourselves. But at the end of the day, we all hate cancer. Nobody wants to be immunocompromised. We all want to not age quickly. We don't want to pay for medications. We do want to feel upbeat. We do want to be present with the people in our lives. We do want to live longer. We do want to live and feel good for our age. So I guess this is my plea for you to take a look at where there are stressors in your life and make small changes that are going to make a big difference in your health and the quality of your life. Look, it doesn't have to be perfect. Life is messy, and that's the beauty of it. Taking care of yourself is a constant practice throughout the span of your life, but your job is to periodically check in and make adjustments to where you are removing stressors and adding in healthy measures, combative measures. Save this and periodically come back to this message. Follow me if you like this type of content, and I'll be making more videos about stress reduction.